Hi there, Carolyn McDermott here. If your agent has never gone over the residential purchase agreement with you, here's your opportunity to see it before you're actually submitting an offer. So here is your first page. This is a disclosure regarding real estate agency relationships. So there's going to be some definitions over here of what a seller's agent is, buyer's agent, what does it mean to represent both sides, and then what are the responsibilities of the buyer and the seller. And then this is actually going to be the very first place that you'll see your name populated on the offer. So make sure that it's spelled right, everything looks good, because that is also how you will be recorded on the title of your new home. And then this line is going to be designated for your buyer's agent, which would be whatever agent you choose to represent you on the home that you're trying to purchase. Alrighty, so this page is going to be going over discrimination and making sure that we're following fair housing laws. So there's going to be examples of good practice, bad practice. Everything located in this box is everything that you are not allowed to discriminate against, and that goes for a seller accepting an offer and any other type of situation that would involve discrimination. There's also some links here, so if you're curious and you want to learn a little bit more, you can go ahead and check those out. And then here's the first time that you're going to see the seller's name. So you might see a trust, you might see one person's name, two persons' names, but this is where you're going to see the seller's information for the first time. Alrighty, so this one is possible representation of more than one buyer or more than one seller. So this is just stating that, hey, as a buyer's agent could be showing you one property, but they could also be showing another one of their buyers the same exact property. Same goes for a listing agent. A listing agent could list a property in the neighborhood and then also list another one down the street. This form is going to talk all about wire fraud and electronic funds. So when you get your offer accepted, you are going to have to deposit 3% of the purchase price into escrow. And so you're going to have to do this by a wire. So it's going to give you examples of what you should do, what you should not do, and where you can learn a little bit more about how to keep your money safe when you are wiring your money. This is also the first time that you're going to see your property address that you're writing an offer on. So make sure that it is correct. If there's a unit number in there, make sure the unit number is put in there. You'll see, the zip code and everything. So just make sure that's all correct. Keep going here. So this is the fun page. So when your offer is written up, this is where the date is going to be populated. This is where your name's going to be. This is going to have the property address. And then right here, make sure that this is filled out. This is going to be the parcel number. If you're purchasing a home with more than one parcel, you'll see it pre-populated in here with both parcel numbers. And here you're going to see agent information. So you're going to see the selling agent's information, the buyer's agent information, and then all of the license numbers of the brokerages and those agents. And then in here, this is only if you're representing if an agent is representing both sides. And then right here, this is going to be checked stating, hey, we're going to have you sign possible representation of more than one buyer or seller disclosure, which I just reviewed above. And then right here, this is going to be your purchase price. So your offer price should be selected in here. If you're all cash, it should be checked marked right here. This is going to state how long of an escrow period you're going to have. So right here, it has 30 days. That is the standard. Or let's say you don't want to close until November 1st. You can select right in here, November 1st as the close date. Offers are all good for 3 days, unless you want to change that for some reason. Here's where you're going to put your initial deposit amount. Again, it's 3% as a industry standard. This part should never really be filled out. That is not really applicable to most, but right here it's going to be your loan amount. So this is how much you're taking out. So let's say you're buying at $900,000, you're doing a 20% down payment, and then that means you would be taking out a loan for $720,000. And then over here, if you're VA or FHA, you're going to select one of those. And then in here, if you're buying it as an investment property, you're going to select that or a secondary home. And then this will make it for the rest of your down payment. So like I was saying, 3% is the industry standard. Well, if you have a 20% down payment, you're going to see the additional 17% to make up your full 20% down payment listed right there. And then this should add up to your total purchase price again. So if it's $900, you should see $900 right here again. And then this form, this is going to state if the seller is giving you any type of credit. So this will be checked off, and then the amount of credit that you want is going to be labeled right here. This is all pretty standard. You're not really going to see that changed or messed with. But over here, you should either have a pre-approval checked or a pre-qualification letter checked. All right, so these are contingencies. Pretty much everything here is labeled as 17 days. So if your agent changes anything by any chance, one of these will be changed to a different day, or if they're removing any of your contingencies, this will be selected here. This is going to be checked off if you are contingent on selling your personal property in order to buy a new property. This is time of possession. So as a buyer, you're allowed to say, hey, I want to get keys on the day of close at 6 p.m., or maybe you want to get them at noon, or maybe you're going to give the seller a couple days to move out after the close of escrow. You can say what time you want to get your keys. So if it's most convenient for you to get keys at 3 p.m., you can put that in the offer. Right here is going to state how many days you're going to allow the seller to stay in your new home after the close of escrow. So if it's under 29 days, it'll be selected here. If it's over 30 days, you'll select here, and the amount of days will be in this box. This would be applicable if there's a tenant currently in the property. This is the amount of days you are allowed to review documents and for the seller to put things up like the smoke detector, carbon monoxide, all of that good stuff. All right, so this section is going to talk about all the different things that you can negotiate when submitting an offer to a seller. So if you want the stove or any of these items listed in here, you're going to check it off, or maybe you like their patio set and you want to check off right here and include patio set, you're more than welcome to do that. And then they've also included video doorbells. So let's say, for example, a Ring doorbell or something like that, you can now include those. Right here is going to be excluded items. So for example, I have a listing right now and the fridge, washer, and dryer are not included. So, we'll want to select this and state fridge, and then over here again, washer and dryer. Okay, so this is going to state who pays for what. So we're determining if the seller is going to pay or if the buyer is going to pay. So standard is pretty much what I have filled out here. The seller will be paying for the Natural Hazard Zone Disclosure Report, including tax information, environmental, and then right here, it is the seller's responsibility to make sure that there's smoke alarms, carbon monoxide detectors, and that the water heater is braced correctly. It's also up to the seller to make sure that any type of government required point of sale inspections, reports, corrective or remedial actions are taken care of. And then here it's going to state that escrow fees, each to pay their own. The seller gets to choose the escrow company. Typically, it can be negotiated though. And then the seller will also be paying for your personal title insurance policy, but the seller typically does get to pay. But let's say that you are contingent on selling your personal home. It's best to always make sure that you have the same title on your home and your next home. It just avoids a couple of hiccups you could have. And then right here, this is going to state that the buyer is going to pay for the buyer's lender title insurance policy. And then here we have the seller paying for the county and city transfer tax fees. And then these two, you're not even given an option. They already have seller and buyer selected. And then the HOA transfer fees, that is paid for by the seller. So if you see buyer, that's not really standard, and it should definitely be selected as the seller instead. Then down here, if you haven't heard of a home warranty, I would love to explain it a little bit more in depth, but for the sake of this video, I'll just go over it briefly. But typically the seller is going to pay for that, and it can go up to $1,000 based on what you want to have included in your home warranty. So reach out if you want some more questions answered about that. This form is going to state all the different forms we could have you sign. So if these are checked off, that means that your agent is having you sign that. So for myself and my brokerage, we just have these 4 checked off, and we'll review them as we go through this, and some we've actually already gone over. And then down here, we're going to just talk about a couple of definitions. So if you're reading through this contract and you're not aware or sure what some of these terms mean, they're going to explain it in detail throughout here. So I'll let you guys read that on your own. Keep scrolling here. Okay, so this is just stating that by signing here, you are agreeing that you will take action as of arbitration or mediation if there's an issue instead of going straight to court. It is cheaper anyways. So down here is going to be your information, and then we're going to have the seller's information along with the listing agent and buyer agent information, and then escrow will fill this out once you do have an accepted offer. So this form is going to state all the different inspections you could do while you are in escrow. A seller cannot deny any one of these inspections. You can pay for them and do as many or as little inspections as you'd like, but this will just run through all the different ones that you could do. And this form is just stating that we have to give a fair appraisal. So go ahead and read through that. If you have any questions, please feel free to reach out to me. And lastly, this is just stating that us as agents, we will not be selling your information, your phone number, your email, anything like that. But just keep in mind that when you become the new owner of a home, it is public records that you're now the new owner. And so you might get solicited, but just know it won't be from us. So again, I hope that was helpful. And if you guys have any questions or you want to go a little bit more into depth with more contracts or things that you can negotiate, I would love to have a conversation with you guys. So just go ahead and reach out.